The moment the broadcast ended, I saw my wife standing behind the cameras, flashing director a smile she had never given me. In our 8 years of marriage, she had never looked at me like that. In that instant, I finally understood that something had been off all this time, and it wasn't just my imagination. On the way home, Sophia kept talking to me about work. Director really has some great ideas, she said. He wants to overhaul our news style to boost our ratings. I tightened my grip on the steering wheel, a cold laugh forming in my mind. Right, overhaul the style. That's why you need to meet frequently in private to discuss work. When we got home, Sophia said she was going to take a shower. Listening to the sound of water coming from the bathroom, I picked up her phone from the coffee table. I entered the password. With a soft beep, the screen unlocked. Her password hadn't changed since the day we got married. I opened WhatsApp, and the top conversations looked perfectly normal. But when I tapped into the work chat, my heart clenched painfully. Victor, are you free tonight? Sophia, is there something? Victor, we need to discuss the project. Meet me at the harbor at 8 o'clock. Sophia, okay. Scrolling up, I found countless similar conversations. And Grand Hotel was precisely where the network arranged accommodation for out-of-town guests. I quickly took screenshots, then exited WhatsApp and opened her Venmo. The transfer records appeared before my eyes. Transfer to Victor, 50,000 yuan. Transfer to Victor, 80,000 yuan. All this money was our shared assets. Yet she had casually transferred it to that man. The sound of water from the bathroom stopped. I put down my phone and sat on the sofa, nonchalantly watching TV. Sophia emerged from the bathroom, radiating the scent of body wash. She walked over to me and said gently, "Honey, I have to work late tomorrow night. Will you be okay eating alone?" I nodded. Okay. Watching her satisfied smile, I suddenly wanted to ask her, what kind of project are you planning to discuss at the harbor? The next evening at 7:30, I sat in the coffee shop across from the harbor. Through the floor-to-ceiling window, I clearly saw Sophia enter the hotel lobby. She had put on makeup specially today, and was wearing a black bodycon dress, looking more alluring and striking than usual. 10 minutes later, Victor appeared as well. They walked into the elevator one after the other and pressed the same floor. My hand, holding the coffee cup, trembled slightly. Even though I had been mentally prepared, an intense ache still shot through my chest as I witnessed the scene firsthand. I put down my coffee cup and opened my phone. On the screen was the WhatsApp message I had just sent Sophia. Tough working late, honey. What do you want for dinner? I'll bring it. She replied quickly, no need, honey. I might be back very late. Hi. I stood up and walked toward the hotel. Showing my ID badge, I easily found out Victor's room number, 1618. Standing outside the door, I heard voices and the clinking of drink glasses from inside. Don't worry about this ratings fraud. I've got everything arranged. It was Victor's voice. That's good, Sophia chuckled. We almost got caught last time. I was terrified. I stood rooted to the spot, as if struck by lightning. Not only had they betrayed me, but they were also conspiring to do such a thing. Suddenly, the voices stopped, replaced by some suggestive sounds. I turned and left. It was enough. Back home, I opened my computer and organized and archived the evidence I had collected during this period. Then I poured myself a drink. Sitting in the dark, I drank it down in one gulp. Excellent, my dears. Since you love ratings so much, I'll give you a grand gift when the network's ratings are at their peak. In the days that followed, I began systematically collecting evidence. First, the surveillance records. I paid a few servers I knew at the harbor, and they provided me with Sophia and Victor's entry and exit logs from this period. Not only that, but I also installed a GPS tracker in Sophia's car. Every evening, that red dot would stop precisely at a certain location, usually the harbor, sometimes an exclusive suburban club. She was too careless. Or rather, she didn't take me seriously at all. In her eyes, I was just a boring husband, obsessed with work and emotionally inept. When she met Victor, she didn't even bother to come up with decent excuses. I checked their call records. Sarah placed a file in front of me. They've been in contact almost every day since February. The longest call was at 2 a.m. and lasted 47 minutes. I opened the file and softly hummed in acknowledgement. Sarah paused, as if to say more. Daniel, should we? Not yet. I closed the file and smiled. Let's wait a little longer. The network's annual awards was still 2 months away. That day would definitely have the highest ratings. At that time, I would fully expose their scheme to the entire nation. The investigation into Victor went even more smoothly than I had imagined. He used to work at South Coast Network, where they also engaged in ratings fraud. When the truth came out, he was almost fired, but his WIF's connections saved him. I looked at the report the investigator sent me, raising an eyebrow. He's married. Yes, for almost 10 years. His wife comes from a well-connected family and works at the national standards. How ironic. Sophia and I had been married for 8 years, Victor and his wife for 10. And now, here they were, cheating on their partners. Keep digging, I said. Especially focus on the ratings fraud. The investigator nodded. A few days later, he brought me a bombshell. It turned out Victor had bribed several technical department staff members at our network to manipulate data and falsely report ratings. This way, he could not only scam more advertising fees, but also earn handsome commissions for himself. And was his accomplice. She was responsible for handling the relevant people, ensuring the scheme wouldn't be exposed. Mr. Daniel, should we report them directly? I shook my head. No, I'll handle it myself. This evidence had to be saved for the very end. That day after work, I deliberately waited for Sophia at the elevator. Honey, were you waiting for me? Smiling, she linked her arm through mine. Yeah, I said. We haven't had dinner together in a while. A flicker of panic crossed her face. Oh, but tonight Work is important, I said gently. Go ahead, I'll eat by myself. She sighed in relief and kissed my cheek. You are the best, honey. I'll treat you to a big meal another day. Watching her walk away, I opened the phone monitoring software I had recently installed. On the screen were Sophia's latest transfer records. She had transferred another 100,000 to Victor. Our joint savings account was almost 2 million yuan lighter. At 10 o'clock that night, I was sitting in my home office, working, when I heard a sound from the entryway. Sophia was back. She tiptoed in. Not asleep yet. I took off my glasses. How was work? It was okay, she yawned. I'm going to take a shower first. I smelled a faint scent of men's cologne on her. It wasn't the brand I used. As the investigation deepened, I found Sophia even more detestable than I had imagined. This is the evidence of her and Victor conspiring to sabotage other hosts, Sarah said, pointing at the computer screen. They deliberately made things difficult for colleagues with work assignments, and even spread rumors that damaged their reputations. I looked at the documents, my fingers unconsciously tapping the desk. No wonder several excellent hosts had left the network recently. They had been driven out by this manipulative duo working together. And this, Sarah pulled up another document. The documentary the network brought in last month actually cost only 3 million yuan. But they reported it as 8 million, and the difference. They pocketed it. I finished her sentence. What a joke. I had always thought Sophia was a kind and devoted wife, but in reality, she was not only having an affair, but also using her position to line her own pockets. Had I been blind for 8 years? Keep investigating, I stood up. Don't miss a single clue. I would publicly humiliate them at the awards. Then, the entire nation would see what their so-called perfect anchor couple was really like. Victor was feeling very pleased with himself lately. At the staff meeting, he spoke confidently at length about leading the network to new glory. The people sitting below were either sincerely applauding or sycophantically echoing his words. Only I sat quietly in the corner, watching the farce unfold. Director, what do you think of my ideas? Victor suddenly asked me. I offered a standard smile. Director, you are truly far-sighted. I fully agree. He seemed pleased with my answer, and continued talking incessantly. Little did he know that beneath my smiling face, I was tightening the noose, step by step. After the meeting, I called over Josh from the technical department. Last week, I found out he was one of the people Victor had bribed to tamper with ratings data. Director, he stood nervously in front of me. I handed him a document. This is the data you helped Director alter last year, isn't it? His face suddenly went pale. Don't be nervous. I patted his shoulder. I won't say anything. I just need your help with something. What kind of help? You'll know when the time comes, I said. Remember, if you cooperate well, these things will be as if they never existed. Watching him leave, flustered and scared, I opened my phone. The recordings of my conversations with the other involved personnel in the technical department were all saved. That evening, Sophia surprisingly initiated having dinner with me. I haven't had time to spend with you lately, and that's my fault, she said gently, putting food on my plate. How about we go out this weekend? I knew why she was doing this. Because the annual awards was next week, and she probably felt guilty, and wanted to make it up to me. How laughable. Sounds good, I said. Where would we go? Anywhere is fine with me, she smiled. You decide. Looking at the innocent expression on her face, I suddenly felt sick to my stomach. Just 3 hours earlier, I had received the surveillance video of her and Victor at an exclusive club. In the video, she was embracing Victor's neck, smiling even more sweetly than she was now. Well then. I took a sip of my drink. Never mind. Isn't the awards next week? You must be very busy. Let's do it another time. She paused, then showed an apologetic expression. I'm sorry, honey, I completely forgot about that. I waved my hand. It's fine. Work comes first. Yes, work comes first. That's why you conspired to do so many illegal things, right? Director, I found out some even more explosive news. Sarah leaned in mysteriously. Victor and Chloe are seeing each other. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, yes. A few days ago, they were seen by someone at a club, she whispered. And apparently, the woman is pregnant. I nodded thoughtfully. This news was an unexpected bonus. Keep investigating, I said. The more detailed, the better. Sarah paused, as if to say more. Director, are you really going to at the awards? Yes, I leaned back in my chair. Tell me, will the ratings break records? She looked stunned for a moment, then smiled. Definitely. But Daniel, aren't you afraid? Afraid of what? I countered. Considering how I am now, haven't I already died inside? Sophia had been acting strangely lately. She started sending me messages frequently, asking what I was doing or what I wanted to eat. Even when she came home late at night, she would quietly tuck me in. I knew she was having a guilty conscience. Because the awards was approaching. Our network is going to win the best program this time, she told me. What do you think I should wear? I looked at her excited face, and suddenly said, you've been spending a lot of time with Director lately. Her expression froze instantly. But she quickly returned to normal. Yes, he's very dedicated to his work. I nodded. Indeed, very dedicated. So dedicated that he even takes care of my wife. She sighed in relief and continued looking through her clothes. She completely missed the icy glint in my eyes. All the evidence is ready. I looked at the thick stack of files on the table. What about the people from the technical department? They were all taken care of, Sarah said. They've agreed to testify at the crucial moment. I nodded in satisfaction. Now, I just had to wait to make my big move. Just then, my phone rang. It was a message from Sophia. Honey, I need to discuss the awards with Director tonight. Get some rest, don't wait up for me. I replied, okay. Be careful. I put down my phone and opened my computer. The screen displayed Victor's schedule for the day. He had a dinner with Chloe. Hey, looks like Sophia would be waiting in vain tonight. 3 days until the awards. Sophia had been staying at her parents' house lately, claiming she needed to prepare thoroughly. I knew she was avoiding me. Because she had a guilty conscience. Director, don't you really regret it? Sarah asked me. I looked out the window. Regret what? If you do this, your marriage will be marriage. I scoffed. It was over long ago. The moment I discovered her betrayal, our marriage ended. Now, I was just waiting for the dust to settle. Today called me into his office. Director, do you seem to have an issue with me lately? He said, looking down at me from his leather chair. I smiled. Not at all. Director has done so much for the network, I'm nothing but grateful. Is that so? He said meaningfully. That's good then. Oh, by the way, he suddenly changed the subject. I hear your wife hasn't been home lately. My heart turned cold, but I kept my expression neutral. Yes, she's preparing for the awards. He nodded. She puts a lot of effort into it. So much effort that she won't even come home to sleep in my bed, right? I stood up. If there's nothing else, I'll get back to work. Go on. He waved his hand. Prepare well for the awards. Looking at the self-satisfied expression on his face, I scoffed inwardly. You think you've won? Just wait and see. I found it. Sarah rushed in with a document. The thing with Victor and Chloe is true. She's 3 months pregnant. I opened the document. Where's the evidence? It's all here. She pointed to the back, including hospital examination records, hotel check-in records, and their chat logs. Good. I closed the document. You've worked hard. Director. She paused, as if to say more. What is it? Do you think they'll after they find out the truth? Will they what? Will they feel a lot of pain? I was silent for a moment, then said softly, what does it matter? Since they chose to betray, they should bear the consequences. The night before the awards, Sophia finally came home. She stood in the entryway, looking tired. Honey, I'm back. I was on the sofa looking at documents, without lifting my head. She walked over and sat beside me. I haven't spent time with you lately, and that's my fault. After the ceremony, I'll make it up to you, properly. I put down the documents and looked at her. Do you know what I hate the most? She paused. What? Hypocrisy. Her face flickered, but she quickly returned to normal. What are you talking about? Nothing. I stood up. Get some rest, you still have to host the ceremony tomorrow. Looking at her stiff expression, I scoffed inwardly. Just wait, tomorrow will be your end. The ceremony arrived as scheduled. The venue was gorgeously decorated, packed to capacity. Cameras from various media outlets were aimed at the stage, ready to live broadcast the grand event. I stood backstage, looking at myself in the mirror. A meticulously tailored suit, flawless makeup, and that standard host's smile. Honey, Sophia walked over. She was wearing a champagne-colored evening gown today, looking stunning. Shall we walk the red carpet together later? Sure, I said. Victor walked over then. Are you two ready? Looking at them standing together, I suddenly had an urge to laugh. You think this is your moment of glory? Just wait and see. The ceremony officially began. Sophia and I stood at the center of the stage, hosting the grand event with the utmost professionalism. Next, we will present the best program. This was the most important award of the evening. According to their plan, this award should be presented to our network. Sure enough, the moment the envelope was opened, our network's program name appeared on the large display. Thunderous applause erupted. Victor, as director, walked onto the stage to give an acceptance speech. Behind this award lies the hard work and dedication of all our colleagues at the network. I stood to the side, watching his swaggering demeanor, a slight smile playing on my lips. It was time. Before Victor gives his speech, I'd like to play a video. I spoke suddenly. Everyone in the venue was stunned. This wasn't part of the program, but I had already signaled the staff to begin playing. On the large display, the screen changed. First, the surveillance video of Victor and Sophia at the hotel appeared. Then came their transfer records, fabricated ratings data, and evidence of sabotaging colleagues. Finally, there was the private video of Victor and Chloe. With a loud asterisk clatter asterisk, the microphone dropped to the floor. Sophia's face turned ashen as she looked at me. You. Victor also froze in place, his eyes filled with disbelief. The venue erupted in an uproar. I walked to the center of the stage, surveying my surroundings. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow professionals. Today, I am here to reveal a truth. Do you know what these videos mean? I looked at the stunned audience below. It means that all our network's ratings over the years have been fake. It means that the model couple you admire has actually been. Enough, Sophia screamed, interrupting me. Honey, calm down. Calm down. I scoffed. Why didn't you tell me to calm down when you were in bed with him? The venue fell into a deathly silence. All the cameras were trained on the stage. At this moment, the entire nation was watching this spectacular, live broadcast. Security, grab him, Victor snapped out of his daze, and yelled at the audience, but no one moved because everyone present was intently watching the evidence scrolling through on the large display. Transfer records, hotel check-in records, fabricated data. You insane. Sophia rushed forward and grabbed my collar. Do you know what you're doing? I am perfectly clear-headed, I said softly. Clearer than I've ever been. Just then, several police officers walked out from backstage. Victor, Sophia, you are suspected of embezzlement, misappropriation of public funds, and multiple other charges. Please come with us. The scene was already in complete chaos. William stood up, pointing at Victor and roaring, "You monster! You didn't even spare my daughter." Victor tried to explain, but the police officers immediately held him down. Sophia collapsed to the ground, her makeup ruined, looking utterly disheveled. Why? She looked up at me. Why did you do this? This is my gift to you, both, I said, looking down at her. So, surprised enough. I turned and walked off the stage. Behind me, I heard her hysterical screams, "Daniel! Stop! You maniac!" I didn't look back. The cameras were still relentlessly focused on everything. This live broadcast must have broken all ratings records, right? This sensational live broadcast indeed set the highest ratings in history. All media outlets were reporting on it. Headlines, trending topics, and social media feeds were dominated by the news. Pound ratings for a Pound anchor couple scandal, Pound award ceremony broadcast scandal. Sophia and Victor were taken away by the police for investigation. Meanwhile, more dark secrets were exposed. It turned out they not only falsified ratings and embezzled public funds but were also involved in multiple cases of commercial bribery. Over the years, they had used various methods to line their own pockets, amounting to tens of millions of yuan. Director Sarah cautiously entered my office. The network has suspended you temporarily. I smiled. As expected. After all, with such a massive scandal, someone had to take the fall. 3 days later, Sophia was released on bail. She came directly to find me, looking as if she had aged 10 years. Are you satisfied? She stood before me, her voice hoarse. You've destroyed everything I had. Are you satisfied? I sat on the sofa, leisurely pouring myself a drink. Everything you had. What about me? My 8 years of marriage, my trust, our shared savings, where did you put them? She opened her mouth, but couldn't speak. Do you know why I chose that day? I stared into her eyes, because that was when you were at your most triumphant. You thought you were about to reach the pinnacle, but in the blink of an eye, you plunged into the depths of despair. How does that feel? Sophia suddenly knelt down. Honey, please. She clasped my legs, tears streaming down her face. I know I made a mistake, I truly do. Please, just give me one more chance. I don't want anything, not the house, not the money, it's all yours. I just beg you, say a few words for me so I can stay at the network. I looked down at her and suddenly smiled. You know what? I said softly. The way you are right now, it's truly sickening. 8 years of affection died the moment she chose to betray me. These tears now were nothing more than for her own benefit. Get out, I said. She froze. What? I said, get out. I pushed her away. Get out of my house, get out of my life, forever. Victor's fate was even worse than Sophia's. Not only did he face legal repercussions, but he also enraged William, because was truly pregnant. I heard William had someone break his legs, Sarah said. He's still in the hospital. I casually looked through the documents in my hand. Serves him right. Oh, And this, she handed me a newspaper. Sophia attempted suicide by overdose yesterday, and was sent to the hospital. I put down the documents. Is she dead? No, they saved her. I nodded and continued looking at the documents. Sarah paused, as if to say more. Director, you truly don't feel anything at all. No, I cut her off. I told you long ago, the Daniel who deeply loved Sophia is already dead. A month later, the verdict was announced. Victor was sentenced to 12 years in prison for embezzlement, bribery, and multiple other charges. The other involved parties also received their deserved punishment. Although escaped imprisonment, she was completely blacklisted from the entertainment industry. I heard she now lives in a rundown rental apartment, constantly in tears. As for me, I returned to work after a 3-month suspension from my duties. Because of the exposure of this incident, the network actually saw me in a new light. The new director even hinted at promoting me to assistant director. Director, you are a hero at the network now, a colleague said with a smile. You have a bright future ahead. I smiled without a word. My life got back on track. I still hosted the news from this position, and the ratings remained high, but this time, the data was real. Occasionally, someone would ask curiously about that day, and I would just say, it was simply a fitting end. Yesterday, I happened to run into Sophia on the street. She looked much more haggard and scurried away like a frightened rabbit when she saw me. I walked straight past her, without even a glance. That evening, back home, I turned on the TV. The news broadcast was playing an ordinary social news report. I suddenly smiled. This is real life, isn't it? No fabricated data, no hypocritical affections. Only deserved retribution.